which is unfortunate. Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here. Today's nonsense is in Standard, and we are doing a deck overview for the user Greatdark on Twitch. I am a Twitch streamer, kind of first and foremost, and I'm really enjoyed doing content for YouTube, but my audience is primarily over there, you know. And one of the channel pointers rewards you can get is to have your deck overviewed. So Greatdark has submitted this list to me for overview. I have then also did some modifications and have put together a list of my own as well to kind of at least do my best to project where I feel like Greatdark was going with this list and maybe make some improvements based on that, as that is kind of what comes with the stipulations. So that's what we decided to do. We played a few games with this list to start, and then I built the other deck, and then we go over and play that list a bit as well. And then I'll kind of go over the changes I made and why after we see the games, but you'll see kind of to be able to see what's going on here in Greatdark's list. It's definitely got a number of different things going on. Definitely appears to be a Scute Swarm style list with trying to get Roiling Regrowths going off and some, you know, treasures and Azusa's many journeys, things like that, that get some lands out of the battlefield, and then we can work our way up to Titans of Industry and some Elspeth Resplendent and the like. We also have Evolving Wilds, Cabaret Courtyard, trying to get more land drops with Scute Swarm as well. And, you know, then just some fairly generic ramping style cards, some fight rigging, which is, you know, obviously implied to take advantage of being able to hide away these very large creatures, or spells, I should say, and take advantage of that as well. So let's go ahead and get to the games. Like I say, after we play some of the games, we will go and check out my list afterwards. So stay tuned after the games. Alright, folks, here we are up against Kuroshu Show. Good luck, Kuroshu Show. They start with a Forest and a Commune with Spirits. We're going to go ahead and start on Blossoming Sands, gain that life, get it down so that we don't have to worry about tap lands nearly as much. We've got a little bit of Citizen's Crowbar, Speakeasy Server, Civic Gardener, and Skycrier in our hand. Of course, I was unfamiliar with those cards, and taking a little bit of time to read it, we go with the Civic Gardener. To start things off, our opponent goes with a Pathway on black into a Dark Cat Blade on both, and puts a Fight Rigging into hand. Okay, well, that's interesting for sure. Sitting here trying to decide how to go about this. Our opponent having the Fight Rigging come down would be very annoying, so we're trying to decide how to go about it, and elect to Citizen's Crowbar. We're intending to Citizen's Crowbar after combat so that we can take care of the Fight Rigging, hopefully, starting next turn. But of course, you've got to tap the creature that Citizen's Crowbar is attached to and then sacrifice it. But oh crud, it wasn't Fight Rigging after all. It was Demogoth Woe Eater. Oh, now we see what's going on here. The Fight Rigging is going to be popped immediately because of the Demogoth Woe Eater. Our opponent sacrificing the pest, because that's what Demogoth Woe Eater says. You have to sacrifice a creature at the beginning of your upkeep. So Fight Rigging comes down, does a hideaway thing. Of course, we're going to let the hideaway trigger before we destroy it, but we do not want them to be able to go to combat and put a counter on the Demogoth Woe Eater and you know, take advantage of all those things. So we just go ahead and get rid of it. Now, Throne of Gath comes down. Demogoth Woe Eater does not bother attacking, surprisingly enough. And now we're trying to decide how we want to go about this. There's a number of different ways we could do it. We could just go with the Scute Swarm, but since they're playing all this black mana, it's strongly possible they do have removal. And I wouldn't want to lose our Scute Swarm for no reason. Demogoth Woe Eater, of course, makes us discard a card. We are unsurprised by that. because, of course, that's what the text on the card is. Damogoth Woe Eater again comes down. Okay, well, this time we're up to 6 lands. So Scute Swarm going to immediately come down. They can't react to the land drop, so even if they did have instant speed removal, it doesn't help. We activate the Evolving Wilds to put more down. Of course, we were a little hesitant to do this initially because we were worried that our opponent might have board sweepers and stuff, right? They're playing black. That sort of thing does happen, you know, blood on the snows, things like that. But alas, none yet. So our opponent allows their Damogoth Woe Eater to go away. We discard a forest. Our opponent plays an Aegon God of Death with plenty of cards in the graveyard, so that's likely to stick around, and then also goes to find a land. Well, interesting there, huh? Interesting. Skycrier, really annoying here. Paying 4 mana for both of us to draw, I am not a huge fan, but okay, here we go. Scute Swarms. We do hit a land drop. That was, of course, why we did that. We were thinking we're basically just going to present lethal here and, you know, get enough damage that next turn it is exceedingly unlikely for them to live. They have 1 turn to survive. So, unless it's a board sweeper or something, we're good to go. Worried about blood on the snow and stuff, but wait a minute. Toxrill the Corrosive! That'll do it. That will do it. So our opponent sweeps away 10 of our creatures. And none of our cards do anything. So we attack for 2. Bummer, man. And, of course, opponent slams Damogoth Woe Eater, crashes in for a bunch. We still add a little bit of life, so you never know, maybe a miracle off the top. No. Evolving Wilds, not a miracle, so we scoop them up. GG. All right, folks, here we are up against Chocolab. Good luck, Chocolab. Slams Merfolk Windrobber, just start things right off. We go with a forest. Don't have much else to say about that. Gala Greeters is going to come out of our hand because it's the only play, of course, but also a strong card. We're pretty fond of that card in general. Opponent goes with Soaring Thought Thief, and oh boy, they're off to the races already. Going to be doing some milling, I do believe. Yep. Crashes in. Mills over a card. Uh-oh, Kaito Shizuki. That's not good news. That's not good news at all. Okay, well. Trying to decide how to go about this. Really want to save the Roiling Regrowth until after the Scute Swarm here, but the reality of the situation is we're worried that if we don't start developing our board, Chocolab is just going to run us over. So we do run out the Scute Swarm, as horrible as that feels. And believe me when I say it does, in fact, feel horrible. We go with the Treasure because it's strongly possible we need to get the Speakeasy Server down. Remember, that is a 3/3 flyer, so that matches up very, very well against Soaring Thought Thief. Could provide us an avenue to come back into this game. Our opponent crashes in, mills over some more cards. Still not enough to get the Soaring Thought Thief online. And oh boy, Prosperous Thief going to ninjutsu it away. But wait, there's more? There is. Nazumi Prowler as well. Whoa, folks. Instead of taking 2, we're taking 6. We drop to 11. That is disconcerting at least. Opponent draws with the Kaito, but of course, again, since they did attack, it is just a draw, which feels terrible. But oh my word, folks, we were playing well and getting rewarded here. Jinnie Fey coming off the top. Definitely a card we need to consider. We do elect to do so because, of course, remember, if a token would enter, we get to choose one of these. And I forget that the tap treasure would make the cat also enter tapped, which is unfortunate. But it does what it does. So we then decide, let's get in at Kaito. We don't want them to be able to keep that Planeswalker around and be annoying. Yes, I recognize this is taking a good chunk of damage, and it could come back to bite us for sure. But the Kaito is very, very problematic, and if they swing out that hard, they won't have anything to block with next turn either. So Atwara sends back our Scute Swarm. Okay, that is definitely okay. As long as they're not killing it, we're all right with that. And Jinnie Fay does not block. Prosperous Thief makes treasure. Nizumi Prowler does the thing. Merfolk Windrobber does a little milling. And Kaito does a bit of drawing. Wow, that's a lot of things. Opponent has the Infernal Grasp for Jinnie Fay. Annoying. But oh well, I suppose. We do have 3 2/2s on board, which is very, very nice, actually. So we're going to go ahead and Scute, Magoot, grab ourselves another treasure token, play a land, make a creature. Gala Greeters will grow. Roiling Regrowth going to happen as well, and going to sacrifice a forest for a forest and a plains. Folks, the magic number has been reached. It is 6 mana. So Scute Swarms doing Scute Swarming things. Now, keep in mind those lands do enter at the same time. Sometimes that benefits you, other times not so much, right? Because if they entered one at a time, that actually really helps Scute Swarm. Normally, when they all enter at the same time, it lets them see each other, lots of extra triggers, things like that, but not so much in this case. We do elect to end up holding back one of the cats. It trades with Prosperous Thief. The other 1/1 trades 3/1. Feels good. Opponent agrees. All right, folks. Here we are up against Yesba. Good luck, Yesba. And yeah, this is the new version. We did play several other games with Greatdark's deck, and it really, really struggled when we didn't draw our best cards. So I kind of put together a new list and added a bunch of best cards, right? I'll take you to see what all else is in the list after we play these games. But I didn't want to take anything away from Greatdark's initial deck by doing my deck tech right alongside it. So we're just going to go ahead and continue with the game here. Our opponent goes with Ranger class to start things off. We kill the token with the Fateful Absence and slam Halo Fountain. All right. Opponent has the option to draw some cards or level up the Ranger class or potentially play something from hand. All of those are reasonable options in my opinion. They go with Kodama of the West Tree, and that is really, really annoying. Because Kodama of the West Tree, of course, going to be able to get counters from the Ranger class and then start doing modified stuff. So we do Evolving Wilds and crack it because we do want to be able to cast Wrenn and Seven starting next turn as well. So we might as well get some creatures in the process. Opponent does have Blizzard Brawl. That's 1, unfortunately. And they level up the Ranger class. Pretty mana efficient there, and really annoying. Kodama of the West Tree. Of course, we consider blocking here, but it's trampling. You know, because, of course, Kodama grants trample to creatures with modified, so it's modified. Counts. Kodama of the West Tree going to do a bit of ramping there as well. Whoa, boy, all of these are feel bads right now, you know? Opponent adds a little mana just so that they don't have any priority and passes the turn. We do have the land we knew about. Wrenn and Seven going to come down. We're going to go ahead and make ourselves a tree folk creature. Feels good, man. Hopefully we can stonewall this Kodama now. But wait, no! Alright, no stonewalling the Kodama. They have a second Blizzard Brawl. Very annoying. Another counter goes on. Well, any amount of blocking will not save Wrenn and Seven here, so it goes away. The good news is we do have a backup. So there's that. Alright, another Halo Fountain. That could potentially do something in the future, but for now, is what it is. Let's make another tree folk creature, and, you know, hold on for dear life. Not, there was the briefest of moments where I was, for some reason, thinking that you didn't need to pay mana for Halo Fountain's ability. I was like, oh, I could attack and just get a new thing. They can only block one or whatever. I was like, no, wait, that's dumb. Because, you know, that's not the way that works. All right, opponent crashes in with Kodama. And a counter goes on. Well, yep, we're going to block, 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 and block, block, block as much as we can block. Our opponent elects to trade with the 5/5 and one of our 1/1s. And boom, comes the Kura, the Boundless Sky. Inconvenient. All right, well, trying to decide how to go about this. You know, there's no real reason not to go up with the Wrenn and Seven. So we do that. Citizen's Crowbar comes down. And another Halo Fountain. Of course, folks, you have to tap the creature that the Crowbar is on in order for Ranger class to do its thing. Or, I'm sorry, for us to be able to kill the Ranger class or whatever. So, it is possible I was supposed to, instead of casting another Halo Fountain, attach the Crowbar to the Scute Swarm token there so that we could use it. But I didn't end up going for it. I'm not certain that's correct or incorrect there. But opponent does level up the Ranger class and cast an Old Growth Troll. Alright, fine. But oh my goodness, thank heavens. Titan of Industry coming off the top. That feels good, man. So we're going to create a 4/4 and then just destroy that Ranger class for free. Yay! Feels good, man. Our opponent does have a whole host of creatures here, though, and that is not great. Opponent, considering what to do, they have a lot of options. The Lair of the Hydra is quite large, but not quite large enough. The Kura is flying, but I do have reach. The problem is, if we kill it, they get a spirit, which is going to be an 8/8. That's not great. So we end up taking the 4. Oh no, a land. Not like this. Not like this. Ugh. Well, we elect to equip the Citizen's Crowbar onto the Titan of Industry here, mainly just for the +1/+1, and it gives us something to do with our mana just a little bit. We crash in with both of those creatures. My punt here is forgetting that Lair of the Hydra is going to be a 5/5, even if they hold up mana, because we were worried about our opponent being able to do other things with the mana. We wanted to draw a card, though, and I got kind of ultra fixated on that. So, given that that was the case, I was supposed to attack with the 1/1. I gave up a 4/4 for nothing, and boy, does that put us in an awkward spot. Yeah, I feel a little bit terrible here. We are currently considering the line of Citizen's Crowbar to tap Titan of Industry to destroy itself. The Citizen's Crowbar targeting itself. But that would tap our Titan of Industry. We could then untap it with the Halo Fountain, make another dude. But, you know, that is a thing that could be done at instant speed, and we didn't want to give up that line and let our opponent know that that's what we could do. You know, that that's within our wheelhouse, so to speak. So our opponent does some thinking here, trying to decide if they want to activate Werewolf Pack Leader and just attack in to get some cards. Our life total is low. It's not that low. So they know we don't really want to block the Kura here. But so it's possible from their perspective that they do just want to wait, right? But for now, they're deep in the tank trying to figure out what exactly to do with their turn. And to me, I think it does make sense to just keep pounding in with Kura. It's not like we have great offense. Yep, Kodama of the West Tree does come down. Yep. Yep. All these things make sense to me. The fact that now their bigger creatures are all trampling, admittedly the Lair of the Hydra not, but All of those things are very good. Oh, no. And there's a land off the top. So close, and yet so far. We do deem just too far behind, and GG. All right, folks. Well, we are back against J Dubbers. Good luck, J Dubbers. Or JB Dubbers. JB Dubbers? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but we're going to start on a plains here. JB Dubbers goes with a Boulderloft Pathway. Fair enough. Well, Forest, come on down. Not quite what we had in mind, but oh boy, we're definitely going to snap off Fateful Absence on that card. It gets out of hand in a hurry. Well, land, Halo Fountain. It was possible we were supposed to just Roiling Regrowth there to develop our mana more robustly, but it made sense to me to get the Halo Fountain down because our current plan is either Esika's Chariot or Legion Angel and just start getting Halo Fountain value, and then naturally our opponent steals it, which makes me sad inside. So we jam a Legion Angel, draw another Legion Angel from the side. Opponent goes with Prosperous Innkeeper. Okay. And is considering a game plan. Elects not to attack or anything. Unsurprising. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, Elspeth Resplendent. How about them apples, huh? Has a Spell Pierce. Oh no, we were about to run away with this game, but we had not seen any blue, and yet there it was, coming in and getting us good. Jugon Defends the Temple comes in, makes a Llanowar Elf imitating creature. Well, Wrenn and Seven comes off the top, and that is a strong, strong magic card. We're going to go ahead and make a 5/5 Reach Treefolk. Jugon Defends the Temple, going to throw some counters around the team, but still don't really have good attacks, you know? Yeah. Bit of a difficult spot, because they're also facing down kind of a lot of damage. Opponent going to gain a little bit of life. Got a treasure. But still, you know, in not a great position. We're now confronting the possibility of, oh my goodness, Broker's Ascendancy comes down, and that's rough. We're sitting here confronting the possibility that maybe we need to be Roiling Regrowthing here, again, just to grow our Reach creature, perhaps. Or something like that. Esika's Chariot to start copying Treefolk would be really, really nice. We elect to just go ahead and go to combat, get in for 4, unsurprisingly in the air, you know, with Legion Angel. And then we do decide to go with the Esika's Chariot, because this does let us defend our Wrenn and Seven pretty well. If they go just completely all out here, we could either keep Wrenn and Seven alive by doing some chumping and stuff, or we could just activate the Chariot, kill off their 2 best things, let the Wrenn and Seven die, and our opponent would die then as well. As it turns out, though, our opponent either roped really, really hard, wasted all their timeouts, we sped it up by like X equals 30 there or something, or they just disconnected or something. But as it turns out, we get Scute Swarm off the top, which is a very, very good one, in my opinion. And then our opponent goes back to roping and eventually scoops. So I assume it was just a disconnect, but I do think we did also end up locking this game up. So I wanted to kind of show you, once you get the Esika's Chariot copying your Treefolk, turns out that's good, you know. All right, folks, here we are up against Nexus. Good luck, Nexus. And yeah, this hand is keepable. We do get to have the Gala Greeters come down, which is really, really nice. One of the cards that we were really on the fence about keeping in was the Citizen's Crowbar. I believed it to be a card that Greatdark was really excited about having in the deck to keep like sagas and just other, you know, like ranger classes, enchantment things in check. So I did elect to keep it. If you were also thinking about upgrading the deck, you might consider watching out for that. But in this case, it is kind of nice. Allows our citizen to trade with the brawler there. Nexus eyeing our Gala Greeter does not have a creature to sacrifice, so Nicholas enters without. Gala Greeter is going to get a 1/1 counter, and considering the treasure, was thinking about the life as well. But the 1/1 counter, very necessary because we wanted to pressure Nicholas, and we knew that with the Devil down, they could kill the Gala Greeters if we didn't get the counter, obviously. That was the only thing that was truly necessary. We do elect to go with the treasure, though, just for more flexibility in the future. Scute Swarm and Evolving Wilds in hand, kind of nice, but of course, Nicholas going up, wanting to make his discard. We elect not to. Tenacious Underdog comes in. In retrospect, we were just supposed to activate the Esika's Chariot. I would put on the punt hat if we're on stream there. I was overthinking myself there, just sitting there thinking, well, if they made a land drop and everything, they could really, really mess us up, so it's not a big deal. We'll just equip the Crowbar and everything. Yeah, that was all just ridiculous amounts of overthinking, and I gave up a cat for no reason, so huge punt. Bummer to me. That said, we do queue up the Esika's Chariot and charge in, kill the Nicholas the Adversary, play the Evolving Wilds this turn so that we don't miss a land drop, and we can get up to 6 mana with the Scute Swarm down next turn. But yeah, we didn't want to... we did have a treasure, so we could have committed further to the board, but we were worried that there might be a board sweeper in our future. And in fact, there was, so no big deal. Scute Swarm, come on down. Scute Swarm, get multiplied. Scute Swarm, please, I'm trying to click, and it just wasn't letting me click there. Very annoying. Get multiplied further. Now, we're going to combat first because Nexus is tapped out, so we can copy one of our Scute Swarms, and then when we Roiling Regrowth, we get to see all of them. It's true, folks. We're committing awfully hard to the board. If Nexus has another board sweeper, well, you kind of get us here, right? But for now, we are representing lethal through a blocker. And Nexus plays all, but realizes it's not good enough and scoops them up. All right, folks, we are up against Johnny B. Goes with Lunarch Veteran. And we have a little bit of sequencing to think about. Elect to go with the Plains. Opponent has the Luminarch Aspirant, and darn it, we don't, have the ability to leave the mana up because they were on the play this time. Very inconvenient. Was, for a brief second, considering the Azusa's Many Journeys because playing the extra land on 2 is very, very, very nice. Help catch us up some. Alas, we just end up killing it because that silly Luminarch Aspirant just gets out of hand so stinking quickly, Sitting here evaluating just for a quick minute. Because Halo Fountain is a good card, but there's just... It can't compete with getting the extra land drop here, so we just go for it, It's a pretty sweet thing to be up to. Anyhow, and then getting to flip it over into a creature and all that kind of thing. That's kind of nice. It turns out it won't be flipping into a creature because Dawnbringer Cleric is going to come down and kill it. Rude, Johnny B. Rude. But alas, it is what it is. We do have a Fateful Absence, which is kind of nice. Evaluating how to go about this turn. Of course, getting a Esika's Chariot down, always a good idea. Just, getting it off of Summoning Sickness and all that, kind of good. Opponent does go ahead and crack the clue. We're trying to decide what to do for our land drop because the Evolving Wilds does give us a second, it comes in tapped, but it does give us a second land drop if we were to get like Scute Swarm off the top or something like that. So we try to leave our options open, do go with the Field of Ruin. It's possible that was the incorrect play, but I think it's fine. Plains comes out of the hand. We do crew up and crash in. In retrospect, I was supposed to get down Halo Fountain here because they could have team blocked, however unlikely that was, and we might have wanted to untap things. Of course, now we're threatening the untap as well. Our opponent may or may not be, you know, used to seeing that be a possibility. People don't play Hail Fountain overly often, you know? And sure enough, they don't. Well, boom, surprise blocks. Let's draw a card and get to eat your creature. Feels good, man. We do trade with the Gala Greeters, but admittedly, the Gala Greeters are the type of card that grows pretty well as well, so getting to trade with it for, you know, whatever, a third of a card is pretty stinking nice, if you ask me. So, to start the turn, we decide to crack the Clue, just to give ourselves some more options, and bummer, it's another land. Well, elect to get the Field of Ruin down, and go with a Halo Fountain. Briefly considered attacking, because we can get a 1/1, but it doesn't really do much, and then we wouldn't be able to leave up Fateful Absence, and, you know, unless we did it on their turn, but then we would have to decide between blocking and leaving out Fateful Absence and things. As it turns out, we elect to just make sure we can block and leave out Fateful Absence, and it pays off because our opponent had a really nasty Voice of the Blessed that would have messed us all up. Hey there, hold on just a darn minute. It's Elspeth Resplendent coming off the top, and boy, oh boy, does that feel good. We were waiting for just such a top deck. Opponent cracks a Clue. We go ahead and put a counter. It's a lifelink counter on the cat. Why lifelink? Well, because amid all of the things happening here, we've dwindled heartily, right? Our life total has dropped off considerably here. Oh, crud. Celestial Unicorn comes off the top. It's another Jinnie Pridemate style creature. Going to be getting a bunch of 1/1 counters. Of course, Gala Greeter grows as well. We are patiently waiting here, trying to decide what our opponent's going to do. They go with Gala Greeter's attack. We will untap our 3/3, get a 1/1, just do a little chumping, allow Elspeth to take a beating, and maybe we can pile more counters on the kitten. You know, maybe flying, maybe vigilance, who knows what. We'll find out. Opponent deep in the tank, though. And, oh my word, Titan of Industry coming off the top. Well, that's as much of a windmill slam as I have ever seen in my life. We're going to put a whatchamacallit counter on the Titan of Industry, the shield counter, because the Celestial Unicorn is going to grow considerably, but as long as it doesn't grow insanely, we can now team block and save our Titan of Industry at the same time. Boy, oh boy, does that feel good. Our opponent does not even crash in with a Luminous Phantom. I think that was kind of a slam dunk, from my perspective at least, because they could have taken the shield counter off of Titan of Industry, right? So then we decide to give flying to our Titan of Industry and crash in. This is as much about gaining the life as it is about getting a chump blocker by using the Halo Fountain, you know? Oh my word, Righteous Valkyrie. Oh my goodness. All of these things are just terrible as far as I'm concerned. Gala Greeter's going to get a counter. Yep. Celestial Unicorn going to get some counters as well. And go to combat. This is a tough attack step for Johnny B. They get in with the Celestial Unicorn and the Luminous Phantom. We have an interesting decision here. We could just kill the Celestial Unicorn. But the deal is, I actually decide, you know what? I think we can beat the Celestial Unicorn. There's no trample. There's no lifelink over there or anything. So I think, since our Titan of Industry is already in the air, we can beat that. Oh my goodness, another planes off the top. Man, we have been flooding pretty hard here. A little bit inconvenient. Decide, maybe we're supposed to cash in the Elspeth Resplendent, then at the last second, reconsider and go with Vigilance on the Titan of Industry. Oopsie, just a minute. That's a punt. Yeah, big oops. Pummeler, big oops. We needed the Titan of Industry to tap. It was actively beneficial that the Titan of Industry was going to tap, right? That was a good thing. We were happy about that tapping. So, you know, very awkward. Admittedly, though, we've been able to chunk their life total down so much that the Righteous Valkyrie is no longer giving the buff to the team, and their attacks just aren't very good. Well, okay, that said, Elspeth Resplendent comes down. ultimates. Jinnie Fey after that. Admittedly, folks, we could have had Jinnie Fey come down first and then get 2/2 haste. Or we could just get 15 power worth of flyers on 5 separate bodies, and we elected to do that thing, you know. Our opponent having a difficult time handling the 10/10 flying, vigilant, trample, lifelink, reach, I guess? Titan of Industry, and trying to decide how to go about it. Celestial Unicorn just comes in at the Elspeth? I mean, we briefly consider blocking, but why? You know? And then we're just going to crash in. Sure enough, Johnny B is dead. GG, Johnny B. GG. All right, folks. Here we are up against Archangel. Good luck, Archangel. And, yep. A little bit of an awkward sequencing required because we don't have an untapped white source. So Overgrown Farmland, I'm going to come down so that we can Citizen's Crowbar on 2. Yep. Archangel goes with Eye Twitch on 1. Or, I'm sorry, on 2. And then into a pair of mountains to follow things up. Blood Chiefs, they're going to kill our Citizen. That's fine with us, folks. That is fine with us. We're going to go ahead and just take the opportunity to slam our Halo Fountain since our opponent was already prepared. No way out. They're mind rotting us, folks. That's annoying. We give up on Roiling Regrowth and our Scute Swarm. Very inconvenient, but I think these things are fine. We're going to try and tax our opponent's resources somewhat. And oh my goodness, they have a go blank. Good lord. Sitting here deciding, well, we could draw into another Wandering Emperor, but we have the Wandering Emperor here. And I think at the end of the day, we would prefer having a Wandering Emperor over the extra Legion Angel. If we draw into a Wandering Emperor, we'll be sad. Oh my goodness. Yeah, naturally, we're sad. Okay, so I made the wrong choice. Apparently, it happens. We crash him with a Legion Angel. There's no reason to have that Eye Twitch Stonewalls forever. It is likely they want to remove our Legion Angel, so the 5 mana colorless exile spell, or you know, the 3 mana you gotta sacrifice a creature thing. Yeah, sure enough. The Necrotic Fumes comes down. Unsurprisingly, going to remove our Legion Angel, which does present us with a great opportunity to slam the Wandering Emperor. Again, it's always nice to have the backup Wandering Emperor as well, but kind of wish that was a Legion Angel right now. Oh well, it is what it is. So we slam a Samurai on their turn, a Samurai on our turn, Wandering Emperor on 1 loyalty. Partly just kind of expecting it to get burned or something. But, you know, we have a backup, for better or worse. We also wanted to, you know, we were prepared to be a little more reckless with Wandering Emperor's loyalty counters because we were worried they might hit us with another Mind Rot effect. They've already hit us with 2 Mind Rots. So if that was going to be the case, we'd want to respond with Wandering Emperor and just get some more loyalty as opposed to having to discard it. So, okay, well, that's our 5th land. That's not the end of the world. So we're just going to cash in the Wandering Emperor and attack. Maybe? Yeah. Opponent just takes it. We elect not to run out the Wandering Emperor. I mean, this has got to be the most telegraphed Wandering Emperor of all time, but whatever, man. You know, it is what it is. All right, Omnixilus comes down. Casualties away the little dude there. We refuse to discard a card. Take a little damage in the process. Wandering Emperor comes down, makes a 3rd Samurai that has pseudo haste because, of course, it has flash, right? It's 3 Samurai on board, though. It's a pretty robust attacking force. All of it vigilant, so we can't get any Halo Fountain value, which is actually kind of annoying here, you know. But, of course, having the, you know, vigilance is still just a good keyword, right? We do finally elect to equip the Citizen's Crowbar, though. Give ourselves a little bit better defense. Yep, opponent trying to make us discard that Titan of Industry. We still refuse. The original Obnixilus remaining, of course, so if our opponent does have another Obnixilus, it's not going to overwrite or anything, but oh boy, Soar the Mirthless is a really good one, folks. And Azusa's Many Journeys, a little underwhelming there, honestly. So we elect to allow the Obnixilis to live. We go after Soar the Mirthless. Our opponent does have some options for trading here, you know, like Sedgemoor Witch alone could, things like that. But it makes sense to me that they elect not to, just let the Sorin die. We do have robust board presence. Wandering Emperor for loyalty. Several 3/3s here on the board. Opponent gets in to pressure the Wandering Emperor's loyalty down to 2. Obnixilis cashes in to make another devil creature, and Hagramauling to kill one of our samurais. Well, shoot, man, our board is becoming a bit thin. We do gain a few life. That's kind of nice from Azusa's Many Journeys. Briefly, we consider, you know, ticking down just to make sure to get the samurai value. But since the easiest attacks they have next turn are, you know, just the 2/3 in the air, it makes the most sense to tick up just so that we can keep the Wandering Emperor around, make it, you know, continue to be a thorn in our opponent's side. They do choose to cash in 2 creatures to get rid of one of our samurais. We are unsurprised by that. Should have equipped the Citizen's Crowbar there pre-combat. That was a punt. There was no reason to give up that creature. We should have made them commit the other devil if they wanted to get rid of a creature. We didn't force that. Alas, it is what it is. Ooh, dropping the last Blood Chief coming down is actually quite annoying. We now need a land off the top, so we do have to crack the Evolving Wilds, though. So that we can get a land off the top for this Titan of Industry. And, of course, the Evolving Wilds is always going to be tapped, so it is what it is. But Devil hits us in the face. Okay, well, apparently, actually, we do not need a land off the top. We can just get a Fateful Absence. Well, we're going to crash in for 4. And then we get thinking better of it. What if they had that one just sitting in their hand and hadn't felt like they had a chance to deploy it, and they have another one? Since it's legendary, they might just trade with their 4/4. And that would be unfortunate, right? We would much rather get rid of it. So we do just snap off Fateful Absence. Opponent comes down with Professor Onyx, which is annoying. Yeah. Hey. Yes, please. All right, 4/4 goes at Professor Onyx. Of course, we didn't want to alert them to the fact that we were about to jam a Titan of Industry and get a shield counter onto it. So now another Professor Onyx off the top would get it. They would get our Titan of Industry, and we'd be very sad. But outside of that, their options are looking awfully thin. They're going to pay a life, pitch over a Go Blank and a Mountain, and get probably that Sedgemoor Witch, I assume, is what came off the top. Our opponent considering what to do with 2 remaining cards, 2 remaining mana they have in hand, and elect to pass. Well, that's a fine thing to do, opponent, but understand, we're going to be doing a little bit of combat ourselves here. Titan of Industry goes at Professor Onyx. Even if they double block here, they do not trade. They could get the shield counter off, so admittedly that does turn on creature destruction, but not before losing both their Sedgemoor Witches, and their Professor Onyx would then still die, because of course the damage would have to be dealt first. If they fire off their regular destroy style removal first, then nothing happens. Professor Onyx still dies, their creatures still die, nothing happens, so it would have to be done afterwards. So this is a fine outcome as far as I'm concerned. They do elect to chump, which to me, I'm not sure that was correct, because to me that was like playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win. They really needed like running kill spells to get rid of the Titan of Industry, and apparently suddenly it does make sense. They had the Meat Hook Massacre that they knew they were going to have to fire off just to buy time. We do sacrifice the Crowbar just to make it so our opponent gains no life and we don't get drained anymore, because we do have a number of little creatures that could be showing up in the deck and that could be dying, and we don't want opponent to get any value. Of course, we'd been sandbagging lands just in case our opponent gets a Scute Swarm. Of course, it didn't happen. Oh, boy. Well, we're presented with an option here. We could block. We elect not to because we do want to preserve that damage counter or whatever the heck that thing is called. Now the Scute Swarm shows up. Now that they mind twisted all of our lands away, you know, but oh well. Sure enough, hey, there's a land, and all is well with the world. We slam a forest, get a Scute Swarm. Opponent's at 4. Removal not going to be good enough. And Archangel scoops him up. GG, Archangel. All right, folks, we are back. And, of course, the first couple of games were played with Greatdark's original deck, and then the next couple of games were played with the revised version that I put together. We tried to preserve the spirit of the deck, but there were some cards in here that felt just not up to the power level that you would need to really stay competitive in the game. So things like the Glittermonger and the 2-drop Civic Gardener or something, whatever that was called, Kill Shot. Some of those cards, I'm sure, were likely just budget concessions. So I don't even blame Greatdark for not having all the rare wild cards and things to be able to make the thing happen. But naturally, when I went to revise the deck, we want to build an upgrade path that allows this deck to hopefully compete with some of the top tier things, which is going to involve some rares and mythics typically, right? We decided that if we're going to be a Scute Swarm deck, we should kind of lean into it. So we did go all the way up to 4 Scute Swarm. Remember, there was only 3 in the original list. We kept just the 2 Roiling Regrowths, though, and did keep in the Azusa's Many Journeys. It's possible we should commit one way or the other. And I would leave this up to you on, you know, your own deck building decision, whether or not you want to go all in on one or the other. We are running 26 conventional lands, and it's quite possible that number is wrong too, for the record. I went this way because we did keep in the Evolving Wilds, again, to lean into the Scute Swarm thing a little more. We also went with Field of Ruins. Greatdark had whatever those were. I think they're called Cabaret things or whatever the heck, you know, whatever the guild it is, right? But Field of Ruin gets us that extra land drop as well in almost all of our matchups. There aren't that many monocolor decks running around these days, so there will be some number of non-basics in almost every matchup. So if we have the Scute Swarm down, we can get extra land drops using this, but it's not a tapped land, right? So considering we were running some Evolving Wilds as tap lands and stuff, we did go elect to go with 26 full lands. And using these as extra spells, so to speak. But it is possible maybe we're just supposed to be on MDFCs, right? And that could be as well. That might be an avenue you explore. And given that, you might lean into either Azusa's Many Journeys or Roiling Regrowth more as the situation warrants. As far as other cards you might add or play around with, the Citizen's Crowbar could maybe come out. If you're really worried about other sagas and chariots and things like that, that's a reasonable thing. That's why I left it in, was because Greatdark clearly had a plan for that. So I respected that plan and elected to leave it in. The other things you might do, though, would be maybe consider rabble-rousing, I believe it's called, which is the white hideaway. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many white citizen creatures. So it can really, really amp up the number of creatures we have going on here. The other thing is the Jinnie Fae. You might consider Jinnie Fae, maybe just 1 more, and lean into it as well. Be a Scute Swarm Jinnie Fae deck sort of thing, and lean into that synergy as well. I think, honestly, it's fine. Do with it what you want. That said, I do want to thank Greatdark for the submission. It was a very sweet list, especially for being, you know, with budgetary concerns, things like that. Huge thanks there. And it was fun to rebuild, so I look forward to it. If you folks would like to get your decks overviewed, it's the easy thing to do. Come on over to the Twitch channel, hang out for a few days or whatever, and accrue those channel points. Channel points are free. You don't have to pay for them or anything. Just hang out. Just be there. That's all. You don't even have to actually be watching. You could put it on and be like, man, this guy's boring, and then go to the store or whatever the heck, right? That would be fine as well. And you get channel points either way. But, and then just spend those channel points to get this deck overview, and you can choose to have me do it on stream or on YouTube. So either one of those things is fine, and I would appreciate it if you did. So twitch.tv/JohnLikesGames. It's a great place to go. If you did enjoy, please don't hesitate to like and follow, all that thing. It really does help the channel. Really difficult to get traction here on YouTube these days, and any little bit helps. So thank you very much, and I'll catch you all next time.